What is happening? What is up? I can't believe I'm going to say this, but this is the NFL Week 12 early look video. Let's get to it. Now, there's not a lot of lines out right now. However, I am going to give you a couple of Thursday night football plays. But first, let's take a look at the slate. A couple of people that might be in good positions to erupt this week, have good matchups, and let's see if we can get you ahead of the books before these lines are released. Now, the quarterback with the best matchup this week is Tommy DeVito. Yes, Tommy DeVito of 2023 lore is going to be starting for the New York Giants. Forget about it, okay? He's playing the Buccaneers in what is normally a good matchup. However, for a quarterback thrusted off the bench that has probably gotten no reps, no to very little reps, it's going to be an interesting spot, and we got to talk about how to attack it here. Now, Tommy DeVito's NFL average in games that he's starting is 152 passing yards per game. I imagine this line comes out somewhere around the 170 range. And if it does, I'm actually interested in looking at the over for Tommy DeVito. I do believe he's got a better wide receiving core now than he did when he started in 2023. I think he can exceed that line. My projection for Tommy is probably 185 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Keeps them close enough in the game, but they ultimately will lose to the Bucs. The next quarterback with a phenomenal matchup this week is Justin Herbert, who's been absolutely slinging it as of late. On the season, he's averaging 218 passing yards per game. However, over the last 5 games, 274 passing yards per game. He's getting a hang of this offense. He's getting comfortable in Harbaugh's scheme, and Harbaugh with him, they're playing to each other's strengths. Herbert is going to absolutely erupt this week. I like his over for passing yardage, and I also think it's interesting to look at the 300 plus and play that at plus odds. My prediction for Justin Herbert this week is somewhere around the 280, 290 yardage range, 2 touchdowns, and he's in a great spot against the Ravens in what should be a high-scoring game. Guys, I need you to do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, but drop me a comment. I get far too few comments, and that's the biggest YouTube algo booster you can find. So do me a favor, please. Just drop me a comment. All it has to be is an emoji, whatever you guys want. We could have a short conversation. We could have a long conversation. I appreciate you guys. Now let's take a look at running backs this week with phenomenal matchups, and there's nobody better than Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt plays the worst rush defense this week in the Panthers in a revenge game, a game that not a revenge game because Kareem Hunt's played for the Panthers before. However, a revenge game in that these Chiefs are going to be coming off of a loss. They're not happy about it. I can't imagine that the locker room's going to be happy. I imagine they're going to come out focused and probably pummel the Panthers. However, I do think that Kareem Hunt is in a prime opportunity to get 80 plus rushing yards and 2 touchdowns this week. I like him for first touchdown. You could probably sprinkle on that as well. This is a great spot for Kareem Hunt to really put up some big numbers this week. The next guy is in a division matchup. Brian Robinson Jr. is playing the Cowboys in a game that they should be ahead. The spread should be favorable for them. The game script should be favorable for Brian Robinson Jr. Probably a game script that favors Brian Robinson over Austin Eckler this week. And I like Brian Robinson to get a touchdown in this game. Now, we've got an interesting spot here. Rico Dowdle is in a good matchup against this Washington defense. Washington's defense has not been good against the run this year. Also, the Cowboys have been using Rico Dowdle a lot in the passing game. He had about 3 drops the other night in the game. I think that I'd be very interested to see where his receptions line ends up, because if it's 2.5, I think you could take the over at 3. And if it's not, maybe the play is to look at his yardage. However, if you care about the data, which I know you guys do, the Washington Redskins are giving up the least receptions in the league to opposing running backs, not even tied, the lowest behind the Browns, 30 and 31 here, 248 yards, 83.3% catch rate, and 6.89% yards per target. So while their catch rate is low, the yards per target is pretty high. So that's why if the receptions line is set at 3.5, rather than trying to take the over and under and dance around the 3 or 4 line that he most likely ends at, I think I'd be interested in looking at like his receptions yardage prop, maybe like a 27.5, 32.5, something like that. Now, we've got some heavy correlation when you're talking about the wide receivers. Obviously, here, if there's a quarterback we like, somebody's got to be catching passes for him, right? So if we like Herbert to exceed his line 250, 255, go all the way up to 270, maybe flirt with 300, somebody's got to be catching these balls. Quentin Johnson this year looks phenomenal. I think Quentin Johnson's an interesting play at the 40 plus, 50 plus yardage. I also like Ladd McConkey, who had a great week last week, even though he was temporarily out of the game. He got banged up on a play, came back in, had a great week. I like Ladd to have great success against this secondary again this week. I think you can look at the yardage. I think the touchdowns in play, depending on what the odds are. I think the receptions are in play as well. Now, you guys know I've got to talk about the Colts, and they've got a very difficult game. However, a favorable matchup against this Lions passing defense. I like the Alec Pierce connection with Anthony Richardson and Josh Downs. Those are my two favorite guys you would target. I want to see what Downs' receptions prop is at, what the yardage prop is at. I think both guys could catch a touchdown. Pierce would be the long bomb. Downs would be somewhere like that intermediate range, 15, 20, 25 yards, maybe a 10-yard slant, something like that. Both guys can get there on the touchdown. I like Downs if you're going to go receptions. And if you're yardage, I think I'd lean Pierce a little bit, but Downs could absolutely get there in a game that the Colts are probably going to be playing from behind most of the game. And I'm going to jump down, skip over a couple of guys that are probably in good spots this week that you could probably take a look at. However, I'm going to look at A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is just due. He's just due against this Rams team that's going to be able to put up some points on this Eagles defense. This is a game I want to be targeting, especially if you're building out SGPs. If you're playing fantasy, this is a great spot to target. And if you're going to be looking for props, I think look no further than A.J. Brown. I think he catches a long pass this week. I think he scores a touchdown. And I think obviously if he's catching that long pass, he's probably going to go over his receiving yardage prop as well. Last but not least, I'm just going to touch on tight ends. They've been kind of disappointing on the whole this year. The tight end position, if you play fantasy, you know that the tight end position has been really disappointing this year. The stud guys really haven't performed. You've had guys like Brock Bowers creep up there and put together some incredible weeks and stuff. So it's not a position I'm going to attack too often. However, we've got a great matchup for Ja'Tavion Sanders. The only place the Chiefs are relatively soft at all on defense is to the tight end position. Ja'Tavion Sanders has been getting a lot of targets. He's a guy that could take advantage of that. And as I said, they're probably going to be playing from behind from the opening kickoff. So this is a game script that is favorable to Ja'Tavion Sanders. I think his receptions prop or his yardage are the way to go, but I really am interested in his receptions prop, and I want to see where that comes out. Now, as I said, Thursday night football prop. Now, I've got 3 of them posted into the Discord. If you want access to the Discord, it's completely free. Come on, hang out with us, check it out. Click the little link right below. I'll pin it to this video, but I have got 3 plays in there. I'm going to drop one for you right now, and the play is Russell Wilson under 12.5 rushing yards. This is a line he's been under in every game this year. I don't see this being a game that he tries to scramble in. The Browns might try to get after him. I think he's just going to be taking sacks in that instance or dumping it off or throwing it away. He's not been running. Russ at his age, but he was an adequate scrambler. He was a decent scrambler back in the day. He is not that guy anymore, and we've seen it. If they need a quarterback that's going to run, they've got one sitting right on the bench in Justin Fields. I like the under on this line, and I'll hint at another one is a Jameis prop that I've been hitting the last couple of weeks. That's the only hint I'm going to give out. If you guys want the play, I'll drop it in the Discord. Just click the link down below. Let me know what's up. Let me know you saw this video and you're coming over from YouTube, and I've got a couple of special things I'll give out to people, okay? So if you come in the Discord, hop in the general chat and just let me know you found this video on YouTube and that's why you're in the Discord, and I will hook you guys up, okay? I appreciate you guys checking out this early look video. I'll drop videos later on in the week that have specific plays that I'm hammering, putting my own money on. But for now, the lines are not out, so I'm just giving you a look so that as soon as the books start dropping their odds, you guys can hammer these lines before the public jumps on them or all these other people jump on them and post about them, and then the lines start to move negatively away from our favor, okay? And remember, bet smart and win more.